Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the May 16th, 2022 lunar eclipse in Scorpio, part 2 of 2. Now, this is going to fall at 25 degrees Scorpio. Now, as far as Sabian symbols go, this could be auspicious for completing something in solitude and isolation, where one can pretty much be oblivious to everything else and be able to focus on what needs to be done. It may be the completion of a Scorpio related literary work, such as a book associated with the supernatural, the occult, which includes astrology, investigation, mystery, psychology, nuclear weapons, or toxins. Now, the sextile for Neptune can give added inspiration and idealism in the completion or the culmination of what I just described. Now, the sextile to Jupiter in Aries can add prosperity and luck in doing so. And with Jupiter being in Aries, it may give more enthusiasm, drive, and motivation in doing this. Now, it's important to look at other transits to your chart at this time, as they could be intensified and amplified because they're taking place at the same time as this full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. Now, the thing is, transit Jupiter in Aries, that's going to make a close sextile to my natal Aquarius midheaven. Now, by itself, the transit may manifest in greater prosperity and luck, which is Jupiter, in career-related matters, which is the midheaven. Now, with Jupiter being in Aries, well, it could be about making one's luck by taking action quickly and not hesitating or procrastinating, and perhaps even being a bit pioneering. Now, with the midheaven being in Aquarius, this could be tied into the astrology career. Now, it may be fortuitous, which is Jupiter, for being courageous, which is Aries, in taking responsibility, which is the midheaven, and moving toward the future, which is Aquarius. Now, with this taking place at this time of the full moon lunar eclipse, of course, it can have more significance and be more pronounced. Now, another thing, too, I'm going to look at the other electional aspects that take place at this day. Hold on a moment, people. Again, it's important to look at the other electional transits that take place at this time, because they will be accentuated since they are taking place at the same time as this lunar eclipse. Venus in Aries will sextile Saturn in Aquarius. Now, by itself, this aspect can be propitious for valuing one's career. Venus is associated with value, and career can be associated with Saturn. Now, the Aries Aquarius energy is very forward moving. Aquarius is progressive and futuristic. Aries, is always about moving ahead, trying to forget about what just happened, moving quickly, and valuing, which is Venus, really initiative and action and enterprise, which is Aries, could blend well with taking responsibility, which is Saturn, for the future, which is Aquarius. Now, Venus in Aquarius is auspicious for making money in doing something pioneering, and Saturn in Aquarius could work hard on something innovative. Now, another thing is, in some instances, now, this lunar eclipse can manifest in the departure of a prominent female in one's life. Now, it could be, in some cases, a Scorpio sun, moon, or ascendant person, or one that simply embodies those characteristics. It may be someone that is very resourceful, resilient, probing, empowering, and secretive. And it could be somebody also on the negative side that may have been overly manipulative, jealous, surreptitious, vengeful, and controlling. Sometimes endings, can be culminations. They could be blessings in disguise. Endings endings can signify new beginnings at times. It could be, if it falls in the seventh house, as an example, it may increase the chance of this being a marriage partner or significant other that may leave for some. And if it falls in the fourth house, it may be the less dominant parent, which is often the mother, could increase the likelihood and propensity for this being the mother. If this happens to fall in the 10th house, it may be someone that had a position of authority over you. A supervisor that you might have known well, may have had a good rapport relationship with, as an example. Now, also, too, I believe that lunar eclipses, they can be serendipitous. What may start out as something negative may manifest into something positive. Now, let's say, for example, someone has this transit in the 8th house of crisis. And let's say, again, as an example, that somebody, was in a situation as a loan officer and had met up with somebody and was going to strike some business through a loan. And what happens is there's an emergency situation in the area. The loan officer runs out to a trash compactor that has somebody stuck in it. And the thing is, the button, the off button, inexplicably doesn't work. And the thing is, the component, the part of the compactor that's descending, may crush the person inside it. Now, the person, the loan officer, uses the quick-witted Scorpio-like energy and finds a bar to wedge between the base, of the compactor and the part of it that is descending. Now, the person in the compactor is ultimately able to extricate his or herself from potential death. Now, the loan officer loses the business from the customer because the customer is now gone. However, the person that is saved decides to reciprocate and gives the loan officer a surefire, a very strong amount of business. So, as an example. Now, I noticed some interesting event that's going to take place that might correlate with this energy of this lunar eclipse. Now, from May 16th to May 17, 2022, there's going to be an NRRA recycling conference and expo. It's going to be held in Epsom, New Hampshire. Now, I don't know the full details as far as what specifically will be at this conference and expo. Now, however, I believe there may be some innovative ideas that are presented that may be associated with recycling. Now, Scorpio is associated with recycling. Full moons can be about unveilings. They can manifest in bringing something out to the public. This might not seem, that significant. However, the fact this is falling on the lunar eclipse may indicate it actually being monumental for some people. An idea that could be presented associated with recycling may wind up being very inspirational and successful and may lead to great prosperity for the person associated with this idea. Jupiter, planet of prosperity, is going to be in pioneering Aries. Will be making a trine to the moon. It may be exceptionally beneficial to the person or persons presenting the idea. Now, this conference may inspire others to have a career connected with recycling. There may be a greater propensity or proclivity for this to be, life-altering, at least in contrast to a regular full moon. Now, another thing too, what I've noticed. Now, some of you, may have heard about actor, DJ, Danny Bonaduce. He was a child star of the Partridge Family. And he has this mysterious health situation. Now, I'm wondering if this might be revealed, on or around this day, of this full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. Now, he's going to have the lunar eclipse take place in his 6th house of health. And I'm thinking this is likely a serious issue. Scorpio can be associated with things that are mysterious and secretive. Scorpio is also associated with the colon. I hope this isn't anything like, cancer, like a colon cancer or colonic I don't know if I'm saying this right, dysmotility. It may also be something connected with the prostate or bladder, or even maybe the urinary tract. That could be serious. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back, but anyway. Now, Scorpio, I was going to say, the lunar eclipse is also going to fall in very close proximity to his natal Jupiter. And Jupiter does have a connection with Cancer. I don't mean the zodiac sign Cancer, I mean the disease Cancer, of course. Now, I hope this isn't going to be a disclosure of something Cancer, so we'll have to wait and see on this. And last but not least, I wanted to add, I've talked about in some previous videos, there may have been some transits that might have pointed to some reconciliation, with Russia and Ukraine. Now, I don't know if I misconstrued anything, but my understanding is, unless I've seen it wrong, you may want to confer this on the internet, was that, Russia seems to be weakening, in this war, that their strength is starting to dissipate. I don't know if it's attributed to allies going to Ukraine. Maybe they're starting to be overpowered by it. And the lunar eclipse, in the full moon, in general, can be about endings and culminations, and Scorpio is associated with things that are nuclear, and I'm hoping the ending could take place, will take place around this time. But and I understand that Putin it seems like he may have to relinquish his power at some point in the near future, and that's something you want to again confer on the internet. That was just the impression I got, but you may want to read and study up on that. But anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.